Do you believe the woke era a failed experiment? The ESG, the DEI, the kind of push for that. When you talk about things now, you talk in a practical sense, what we can do, what we can get done. Looking back at that, how do you see it?
Society moves, the pendulum moves all the time. In BlackRock's cases, we are responsible for managing money for everybody. And even today, as you said, maybe these, renewables are less talked about it. I can tell you right now, we have many investors worldwide are investing in renewables, trying to emphasize solar and other things like that. We're working with Occidental Petroleum right now to building the best carbon capture factories in Texas right now. So do I believe the pendulum 5 years ago was too far? Yes.
You do?
I believe we're more I'm personally more pragmatic too. And I believe...
But do you think BlackRock pushed some companies a little bit further left than you thought?
It was never our intention, because our job is to be... I got to be a fiduciary to everybody who gives us money. Our responsibility, Brett, is to making...
Hold on real quick. I want to pause there for a second. There's a thing called financial advisors and there's a thing called fiduciaries. Do y'all know the difference between a financial advisor and a fiduciary?
Can't say I do.
Okay. A financial advisor can take your money and they make trades, and the idea is that they're going to advise your money and hopefully you gain money from it. But at the end of the day, they make money based off of the transactions that they do, right? So a financial advisor, oftentimes they're going to make money regardless. A fiduciary, they serve as a financial advisor, but they are bound by the law to make the best interest for your money. And if they do not, they can actually go to jail. That's the difference between a financial advisor and a fiduciary, right? So if you ever have an opportunity to work with a financial advisor, don't. Find yourself a fiduciary. So when he says I have a fiduciary duty, he means that he has to do what's in the best interest to make his clients as much money as he possibly can. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page there. Let's go to continue here.
Sure, if one of our investors wants to invest 100% in hydrocarbons in Texas, I'm investing 100% of the money in Texas. But if another state fund wants us to invest in, let's say, all green energy, we're going to do that. It's their money. But today, because of AI and the overwhelming need for power and electricity, it can't just be one way right now. It can't just be hydrocarbons. So if you see what China is doing right now, China is rapidly building more nuclear than any other country in the world. They have the largest solar fields in the world, yet they're the biggest importer of gas and oil. And so to me, more importantly today, I think society has moved into a better position of having more pragmatism. And what you're hearing from me is I'm echoing what we're hearing from our clients.
Do you believe?
So people are saying, yo, dude, you pushed way too far. And people that are investing their money in BlackRock to make them more money, right? They're saying, yo, pushed way too far. I was shocked. I'm shocked by this, that he would actually go on and say this, considering just the nonsense that's just been beaten over our head for the past
revelation of
5-6 years.
Honestly is astounding. Like, just how much this confirms for so many people who were conspiracy theorists. And I feel like, YouTubers like Endymion and Rev and Smash and all these other, like, gaming sort of news and nerd culture stuff probably could have saved Larry a lot of money if he had just listened to them and was just like, so that thing that you were pushing all this woke shit in, and we told you it was going to flop, and he said, no, it's not, and then it flopped, and you had a bunch of studio closures, and you had a bunch of company and development company closures and publisher restructuring, and then you did it again, and then you did it again, and you kept expecting this modern audience to show up, and they didn't. They could have saved you a lot of money on the investments that were being made. It's just unbelievable that the confirmation that's been received.
I'm not even really that surprised that he comes out and admits it. I mean, this guy is just like pure evil. Like, I don't think.
Yes. Did you see the hand rub he did?
Yes.
Did you see that?
And if you paid attention, like, he said a whole lot of words, but there was nothing actually said. I mean, this guy was just going in circles, covering himself. And I'm not surprised he comes out and just says the truth, because you can have the truth right in front of your face. And, people like myself have been calling this stuff out for years and years at this point, and we're called crazy, bigots, what have you. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, calling out DEI and saying, like, this doesn't work. This makes people angry. It rubs people the wrong way. And I'm called a bigot, a Nazi, all these things. And here you have Larry Fink just coming out and saying, oh, yeah, we were doing all that. We were pushing it, and we went too far, pretty much. And well, whatever. We're just going to repivot because that's what's going to make us the most money. And just don't worry about it.
I think the best part of this whole thing is that people who follow the woke ideology, who've basically replaced religion in their lives with that, congrats, you are a corporate experiment, and it has failed. So your whole ideology proven to be just corporate suits just saying, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could do this and make money? Oh, we didn't. Anyway, be gone with your religion now. So congrats. And all the people that you shunned, all the people you gave the middle finger to, all the violence that you've output into this world, you fucking monumental shitbags. A failed corporate experiment. Congratulations.
Confirmed shilling. They were really shills.
1,000%. And
Yes.
I mean, I'll say this. This should be validation for literally every single person watching our show who's been tired of this nonsense, going like, what the hell is all this stuff? And to find out that it is totally fabricated over the past 5 an overreaction to what happened in 2020, a total swing of the pendulum and the nonsense that was being pushed there. I think of I go back to Game Attack, right? The brand that I had before this, where after I left that company, they dove deep head first into this nonsense, making a shirt that said woke trash on it because they were so, it's honestly sad. I feel sorry for them that they were so manipulated, and they have to look themselves in the mirror, not just them, but everybody else, and say, I was, as Phoenix said, part of a fucking experiment.
They're not going to do that, though.
They're
They're not
gonna
going to look
double
in the
down.
mirror.
They're
They're just
double
going to
down.
keep going. They're just completely screwed at this point. They've completely indoctrinated themselves, or allowed themselves to be. They're not going to reflect on any of this. Like, you are, that's the best way of describing a failed corporate experiment. Like, imagine being that. That's so embarrassing. That's the worst thing you could be. But
It's
they're
why they
not
fell
going to
for it in the
reflect
first
on this.
place.
Yeah.
No. So I have some examples before we get to the reaction to what this looks like online. Some examples of some companies that dove deep into this. Obviously, everyone remembers Bud Light with Dylan Mulvaney, right? Well, that was probably the biggest one. Target.
I covered that.
I remember walking into Target and seeing the Pride collection with I walked in, I was like, what the hell is this? And I sent it to my brother, and all of a sudden that was a viral thing, and corporate, they just flopped because of that. Do you remember Gillette and Procter & Gamble, where they had the toxic masculinity #MeToo about razors and shaving? Obviously, Disney is a big thing with the diverse remakes of The Little Mermaid and Snow White and the LGBTQ plus storylines here, and the opposition to Florida's "Don't Say Gay" bill, right? All that. This was, Harley Davidson, John Deere, Tractor Supply, Lowe's, Walmart, Ford, Coors, Ben & Jerry's, Victoria's Secret. All these companies all have BlackRock tied into them. So now you can see, will they begin the shift back? I don't know. We'll see. It simply comes back to money. It's always been about money. Always.
Well, I mean, it came out of Lowry's mouth himself. It's always about the money.
You mentioned Enemion, Jake. This
he
tweet out.
reacted to this as well.
Yeah. BlackRock CEO admits the woke era was a mistake, and everyone who played into it was manipulated. Every website, every person. It was never genuine. Actually, truth bomb, dude. Every push of DEI and all that was carefully constructed to fit narratives. I got called so many names for pushing back, and now the guy who started is like, yeah, we screwed up. Unreal, dude. So much damage has to be undone from this. So many game companies alone still clinging to this bullshit, knowing it won't work. Unbelievable. Man.
How about the division and the violence too? More importantly than entertainment,
The political violence that was propagated because of this. because they so believed in it. It was dogmatic for them, like trans rights sponsored by BlackRock. It's just unbelievable that it worked in the sense that it was enough to propagandize the weak-minded into being politically violent, but not enough to sell any fucking products.
Disparu came in with this and this is the long lingering effects of all this. You don't have millions of incompetents employed in major roles across every industry who can't do the job, yet their existence depends on DEI. They continue to push it and fight for it no matter what now. Can't put the genie back in the bottle. They get paid to push it, right? Although DEI and diversity, you had roles that were carved out because of this. People's livelihoods depend on this now. And the genie will not go back in the bottle here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just think about this this one story. It was a big deal in California with the fires there, where DEI became a big focus, and they had programs with millions of dollars going into it to hire people who admitted they couldn't carry someone out of a fire. They weren't physically competent, and they blamed people for getting themselves in situations like that. It was a crazy campaign. I remember making videos about it saying, like, this is ridiculous. Like, if even one person or even one building could have been saved, if that money was invested somewhere else to competent people, that was a deadly mistake. And I was called a bigot and all these terrible things. I'm awful. And it's like, this isn't just like people relying on it for jobs. Like, people's lives were actually put in danger because of this sort of ideology being pushed. And it really is a religion to these people. They will sacrifice anything for it to keep it going.